Tov Rabotai, we're on a special Wednesday night shiur. Le'un Nishmat Hamanoach Nehemiah Hoji ben Gedo. And I also want to say that our shiur should be also L'Refuat Shlema Yitzchak Chaim ben Shachnaz. He was a young guy, father of 5 kids. I just got a text message yesterday. Yitzchak, our friend from Oceanside, a friend of his. A friend of his was on a ladder. I don't know what he was doing. I'm assuming he was building a sukkah, but I don't know. Why would he be on a ladder? But he was on top of a ladder. But you never know these houses on Long Island what they're always doing.
His
friend.
Yeah, you would drug.
His friend, and he slipped off the ladder. For what he told me, and he hit his head. And he's the guy. The guy is in a coma. He's a father of 5 children. So he's a part sponsor tonight, and we hope that we give Refuah Shlema to his friend Yitzchak Chaim ben Shachnaz. And we don't know when Din will hit us. Does anybody here know? On Erev Yom Kippur, do we say Vidui? Erev Yom Kippur, do we say Vidui? Shacharit, you came to Shacharit to shul, you say Vidui? No?
Shacharit you do, no?
Shacharit you don't. Just like Rosh Hashanah.
Shacharit no.
In Slichot you say regular. Slichot. And tomorrow is the second to last Slichot, and Friday is the last Slichot. On Slichot we do it because why? Really Slichot was mitkan lifnei hayom. Slichot originally was meant to be said at not at night, after midnight. So therefore it's not day yet, right? So there's not really Tachanun. Anyways, in Slichot we do say Tachanun. But in Shacharit we don't say Tachanun. On Mincha, interestingly, anybody here knows there's a special Tachanun. Tachanun is Ana Hashem Vidui. You know, everybody on Mincha and the Erev Yom Kippur we say Mincha Gedola. Mincha Gedola. Why do we say Mincha Gedola? Everybody's busy. Malkut, Kaparot, Mikveh. So everybody's very busy. There's no time to do all this. So, you find the 20-30 minutes during the day, you say Mincha Gedolah. And interesting, in Mincha Gedolah, there is Vidui. And not a small one. A big one. But it's in the middle of Shmonayis. Not in the middle, but at the end of Shmonayis. Before you say, Oseh Shalom. Al Chet Shechatan. But first you say, Ashamnu Bagal. Then you say, Al Chet Shechatanu. Excuse me. Here's my question to you guys before we start the main shiur, which is, do pregnant and women who gave birth have to fast on Yom Kippur? Why do we say Vidu? Why don't we say Ana Hashem in the morning in Shacharit, but in Mincha we do say Vidui? Good question? You ever thought of it? No. Why don't we say Vidui? There's 2 answers. The first answer is gonna knock you off your socks. Rochelle. Because unfortunately, on Rosh Hashanah, some people were destined to die before Yom Kippur. And if they die before Yom Kippur, at least they should say Vidui in Mincha time.
Wow.
Who died?
Before Yom Kippur?
If you have a decree.
If there is a decree. Really, you shouldn't say Vidui in Mincha time. It's Yom Tov. But if, chas v'shalom, you have a decree, God forbid, against you.
So your own words, not the actual canon. Or we say
anybody who says vidui must halachically know what he's saying. Listen to me.
Yes.
He understood that. He's asking me to say in his own words. You must know what you're saying when you're saying vidui. You must use a translation book when you're saying vidui. You must. Vidui and everything on all the al-chetz. Now, I'm going to tell you a second chidush today. All together, from Erev Yom Kippur till the end of Kippur, Ne'ilah. How many viduis do we say?
26.
Let's count.
26.
No, that's ve'avor. Mincha, we say Ana. I'm talking about Ana Hashem.
Ah.
Mincha, we say one Ana. Aravit, we say another Ana. Does Aravit have a Chazara? No, it doesn't have Chazarat Hashatz. Aravit never has Chazarat Hashatz. That's two already. Shacharit has 2 times. How much we have altogether? 4. Musaf has another 2. How much? 6. Mincha has another 2. 8. Ni'ilah, is there a Chazara in Ni'ilah?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Another 2. How much?
10.
10. All together we make in Yom Kippur 10 Ashamnu Bagadnus. 10. Why?
10 surot.
He already said it, but that's not what the poskim say. Poskim don't say lefi asod. How many times would the Kohen Gadol say God's name with a different nikuda on Yom Kippur?
10.
10 times. For every time he said God's name with a nikuda, you say vidui. Why? Every avera you do is a pegam in Hashem's name. For every pegam that every blemish that you do, you say vidui. Now here's the secret. You see, this whole thing that I'm telling you right now, this is actually my morning class. But they don't listen to me. No. So maybe you guys will. Every avera you do 2 things. First thing, you do a pegam in Hashem's name. Every day has a different configuration of God's name. That means even Bitul Torah that you do, it's worth it for you to have Yisurei Iyov in this world, Yisurei Iyov
Chad Shalom.
in this world, but not to go through the busha of Gehenom. Bitul Torah, I'm telling you. Bitul Torah. That's the last thing, by the way. The Gemara says, your head hurts. Look, he says, you have a fever. Look. Oh, it's the allergies. There's no scientific reasoning for allergies. Nobody knows why allergies happen. Why some people have allergies and some people don't have allergies. Nobody knows. Antihistamines, anti-this, anti-that. You take all this is for the symptoms. Nobody knows why people develop. So everybody became a conspiracy theorist today. It's the vaccinations. That's the answer to everything. It's the vaccinations. Everybody's dying from a heart attack is vaccinations. Everybody's getting old is vaccinations. And meanwhile, there is the highest level of life expectancy. But that they don't say. I hate conspiracy theories. From the beginning of its inception to the end of its inception, I will always hate and be against conspiracy theories. I hate them, they can't be proven, and you could always go the other way. Okay? The only issue is, all of our grandparents and all that came from Russia. And in Russia, the one thing they knew was that the government was wrong. So if the government is wrong and it mandates something, it happens to be that it has to be a conspiracy theory that they tried to kill us. How about Hashem? How about Kadosh Baruch Hu? How come in the world today, the highest level of cancer, if you look at the amount of cancer there is in the world, highest is prostate cancer and breast cancer. That's the highest level. How come in those 2 places? How come? All the other places, no, it's the vaccinations. Because they vaccinate over there, close, that's why they have it over there. I said, we don't see Hashem in everything over there because we don't want to see Hashem in these places. Understand? Right now there's a hurricane hitting, not Miami, Tampa, Orlando. It's hitting. It's actually missing Miami. If Hashem wants, he can go like this, and he go to Miami. Yeah, but the Bukhari and Jews are in Miami, so you can't mess with them. All right? But who made this Hurricane 5 storm? Now, check this out. A couple of weeks ago, they got hit by a Category 3 storm. A couple of weeks ago. And now they're getting hit by almost Category 5 storm. The first in 100 years. So what do the conspiracy theorists say? I'm not joking with you. Inside the Congress, you know what they say? The government controls the weather.
Surprised I don't say
You understand? They do say the Jews. They do say it. Deep down, they say the Jews. And so, guys, look how deep. When you don't believe in Hashem, then the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper until you lose your mind, your psyche gets messed up in your brain. And saying you lose your brain. So now the government is creating the weather, and then the next thing it's creating all the wars.
They can make earthquakes.
They make earthquakes. You see what I'm talking about? They go under the ground, and the seismic, the tectonic plates, they're able to move the tectonic plates 100%. See, there you go.
If they can move that, that's
If they can move tectonic plates, you're not allowed to say "Oseh Maaseh," but you know there's a blessing when you're in an earthquake. When was there an earthquake? In New York.
not too long ago.
Was it a couple of months ago? No, not in the summer. Right before the summer, right?
Yeah.
There was an earthquake. I remember I was walking up the stairs. I didn't feel it to yeshiva, and my brother was upstairs in his class, and he was like, "Whoa!" The whole class was going crazy. They felt an earthquake. What blessing do you make when there's an earthquake? Osema. You guys guessed it. You guys didn't know. Not Ase. Osema. Osema.
To get out of the building. That's a bracha.
Now, even a small earthquake, you say a blessing. Osema Ase Bereshit. Why Osema Ase Bereshit? Earthquakes could only be done by God. Only God could move tectonic plates. Not human beings could use.
Nuclear bomb?
Now, nuclear bombs. The Navi says when Mashiach comes, there will be such an earthquake like the time of Uzziah Melech Yehuda. It says when Uzziah Melech Yehuda, he was the king of Judah, he was a good king, not a bad king. Uzziah Melech Yehuda, he decided he's going to be Kohen. I'm going to be Kohen. Why? I'm a king. Anyways, I sit in the Azara. Kohen has to stand in the Azara. I'm going to be a Kohen. I'm going to bring Ketoret. Why did he want to bring Ketoret, guys? Anybody who brings Ketoret becomes boy. It's a sod. Anyone who brings Ketoret, a Kohen in his lifetime, if he's lucky, he gets to do Ketoret one time. One time. And not only that, when he brings the Ketoret, he tells his family member, hold the Ketoret for me, bring it with me inside, help me walk into it, because he's not allowed to spill. He's not allowed to spill it. So anybody who even deals with the Ketoret gets rich. So this Uzziah Melech Yehuda, he wanted to bring the Ketoret, and what happened was, when he brought the Ketoret, Hashem got so upset with him, he made such an earthquake until the fish in the ocean were shaking. The fish in the ocean, it says the Gemara, the ocean, Tanakh says the fish in the ocean were shaking. It was a tsunami. It was a tsunami in Eretz Yisrael, from the Mediterranean Sea. So the Navi Yechezkel says when Mashiach comes, he's going to make such an earthquake like the time of Uzziah Melech Yehuda. There's going to be a tsunami in Eretz Yisrael till the point where the fish will shake. To that extent it has to be. So all these things that are happening right now, we say, listen, it could be Hezbollah, Mezbollah, all these things, but listen, the signs didn't come yet true 100%, so we cannot be all the way in. I know we digress. I just want the whole point over here to get to Yom Kippurim. We're 2 days from Yom Kippur when Hashem will decide everything for sure what's going to happen this year. Everything that's happened this year will be decided for sure. First things first, any avera you have between you and your friend, Yom Kippur doesn't forgive. Between you and your friend, Yom Kippur doesn't forgive. Between you and your parents, between you and your spouse, between you and ex-friend that you used to have, just because you guys had a fallout doesn't mean you guys can't say we forgive each other. You're allowed to forgive on Tanai, by the way, la halacha. You could forgive on Tanai. You know what forgiving on condition means? You could say, I forgive you on the condition I don't want to see your face again.
Or you're not going to do
You're
this
allowed
again.
to say that. Or you could say, you won't do this again. I forgive you on this condition. But usually, let's say you really can't handle a guy. Like the guy really bothers you. But you want to forgive him. Deep down, you're a Jew. You say, I want to say, I forgive you. You're allowed to tell the guy, I forgive you on condition, please, when you see me, keep your distance. Not run away, but keep your distance. Stay on the other side of the road. Don't act like you're, my friend suddenly. It's halakha. You can forgive on condition. You're allowed to say, I forgive you, but tonight, just stay away from me. You're allowed to say that. But the most important is to say forgiveness to, obviously, the most closest family members to yourself. Now, on Yom Kippur, a very important ingredient to forgiveness is fasting. you have to fast on Yom Kippur. Now, on Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to do 5 things. Mitzad inui. Inui means affliction. But then there's a second side of Yom Kippur, which is Mikra Kodesh, which means you're not allowed to work on Yom Kippur. This year, Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbat. That's supposed to be the best year that the Jews have. Every time Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbat, it's going to be Shailot. Every time Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbat, Yesh Inyan Gadol Meod. It's a very big thing, all right? And a lot of times when Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbat, the next year, I know you're getting anxious, the next year, Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbat. I'm sorry. So when Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbat, it's a very big thing. And the Yom Kippur is called Shabbat Shabbaton, and Shabbat is called Shabbat. You have a Shabbat within a Shabbat, a Shabbat within a Shabbat, and that's called 2 Shabbatot. It says when Am Yisrael will keep 2 Shabbatot, Miyad Nigalim. So if Am Yisrael keep Yom Kippur, which is in Shabbat, Miyad Nigalim. There's a posek like that says that. Okay? And 80% of Jews keep Yom Kippur, but the only thing is they don't know what Yom Kippur is. They don't know when to fast. They don't know how to fast. They know they can't brush their teeth on Shabbat. There's a lot of halachot. In those halachot, and the number one question on Yom Kippur is, do pregnant women have to fast on Yom Kippur?
Yes.
If
This
she's healthy,
year-
yes.
This, I know we're going to have a little...
3 rabbis over, you know that, yeah?
I know we're going to have a little bit of an issue over here, but I'm going to say some things over here that's... La'alacha, I'm saying it, l'shulchan aruch. But this year we also have a different question. Do soldiers have to fast on Shabbat? Do soldiers have to fast on Shabbat? Chayalim. They're
not.
fighting Hezbollah. Soldiers do not, but
No. Yeah.
this I do.
Yes.
Okay, so let's deal with the halacha. When are you chayav to fast on Yom Kippur? When are you not? First of all, the Shulchan Aruch has a whole siman Taf Reish Yud Zayin 617, that talks about fasting on Yom Kippur for pregnant and women who just gave birth. And the first sentence he says, ubarot. Pregnant women, umenikot. And nursing women, mit'anot, they fast. Umashlimot, and they finish the fast. B'yom Kippurim on Yom Kippur. That means the 24, 25-hour fast. They must conclude the fast. Okay, that's the first seif, but there's another 3 seifim over here. And it says over here, ubara, he says, a woman who's pregnant, shehericha, that she smelled food, Rama adds upanea mishtanim, you see that she's getting faint, pale, she's getting faint.
Changing colors.
She's not changing colors in the sense of she's turning blue. Changing colors means she's turning pale. Okay? She's really not feeling well. Like, you know, when a person has a high fever, you see he's already not feeling well, and he can't already open his eyes, and his guys are getting very hot, right? And and the blood starts to leave his face. Right? He says, Shalom, and even though she says, I don't need to eat. Lo chashin la ba'oznaim, we tell her, Miss, Yom Kippurim hu, it's Yom Kippur. Im nitkarera da'ata, if she feels like she can handle it, like she suddenly gets back to herself, it's Yom Kippur. I'm good, let's do it. Another hour, another 2 hours. Harei ze mutav. It's good, we let her go. Right? Ve'im lav, if you see she's still very faint, ma'achilin ota, we feed her at shetit yashev da'ata, until she calms down. That's the second seif. Now, I didn't get to the halachic premises of our I'm just reading the Shulchan Aruch. Third seif, kol adam. Now, you just think that's pregnant woman. No, kol adam. Every sick person, any person who's sick, diabetes or whatever, he's a sick person. He's an old person. Kol adam. Sheheriach ma'achal. He smelled food. Right? Venishtanu panav. And you see, he's not even sick. He's just a guy that he smelled food. You saw somebody chomping down on Yom Kippur. He was a diabetic. I remember as a young kid, we were in Beit Gavril, I went outside, and I see some woman over there chomping on a banana. You know, she could have been a diabetic or something. That's why she was eating a banana, right? And lo nishtanu panai, my face didn't change colors. But I'm saying, let's see somebody would see that in his face, like, oh my God, I need to eat. I'm going to faint right now. Nishtanu panav misukan hu. He's considered a misukan and chas v'shalom mikaderai. Im lo yitnu lo mimenu, machilin oto mimenu, we feed him from this. Okay, that's the first 3 seifim of this siman. Now, what's the halachic premises of ours? Okay, that means any woman who says I need to eat, we feed her. Unfortunately, when my wife was pregnant, almost all my kids passed the Yom Kippur. My wife passed the Yom Kippur with them. Now, every other fast, a woman who's pregnant doesn't have to fast except for Tisha B'Av, and over there it's a machloket. There is poskim that say even then pregnant women don't have to fast on Tisha B'Av, but I don't want to get into that. Or Avadi Yosef says you do have to fast. Okay, if there's a private question, we could talk about that. But what about on Yom Kippur when it's a deoraita? If you eat on Yom Kippur, it's a karet. Karet means it's like you ate bread on Pesach. You ate bread on Pesach. If you ate on Yom Kippur or drank on Yom Kippur, it's like you ate chametz on Pesach. Now, many times women that are pregnant at Yom Kippur, and I heard this firsthand from my wife, they tell my wife, listen, I couldn't handle Yom Kippur. She didn't even ask a moreh hora'ah. She didn't even ask a rab. She didn't ask a doctor, nothing. She right away gave herself a heter. She started to eat on Yom Kippur. Without any heter, without asking a question, without anything. Did you ask a moreh hora'ah, a dayan, or did you ask your doctor, a yireh shamayim doctor? When my wife gave birth, I think, to my daughter, my first daughter, so the doctor, he was an Indian doctor, he's a very famous doctor in these places. So he's like, funnily, so he's like, Rosh Hashanah. I'm like, oh yeah, Yom Kippur is coming. He's like, make sure your wife eats on Yom Kippur. I'm like, you tell your wife to eat on Ramadan or whatever the hell you keep over there. And then you tell me to tell my wife to eat on Yom Kippur. I didn't say it to his face because of Chilul Hashem. But, you have to make sure to ask a doctor who's Yirat Shamayim. Not any doctor will say, not that they care to tell the woman, okay, you're able to fast, you're not able to fast. There's halachot. Okay, number 1. Let's start from the soldiers over there because I feel like that's really peculiar interest. 5 minutes, I'm done. I know, I'm sorry, but halakha, I know.
יש גבול, אז אנחנו לא יכולים בשביל זה. זה הזכרה, גם אם אמרו שלך נגמר. לא צריך לשמוע ברוסית עכשיו. עכשיו עוד מעט ילכו. אי אפשר לעבור את הגבולות.
You got it. Alright, so number 1, a chayal, a person who's a soldier on Yom Kippur, if he's on Yom Kippur a soldier and he's not fighting on Yom Kippur, he's just waiting in his station, he's not chayav, he is chayav to fast on Yom Kippur. He's not fighting, he doesn't need to express any energy. I know he's anxious and everything, but he's still chayav to fast on Yom Kippurim. However, if he's in an active fight, he's allowed to drink, not water. He has to drink something with calories. Also, a pregnant woman that she feels like she's about to faint, not water. You don't give her water to drink. You give her something with calories, grape juice, apple juice, Pedialyte. You give her something that she could feel that she has power to continue later on. Exactly. And how much you give her? Less than a revi'it. Less than a revi'it. A revi'it is up to here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like here, till this much. This is a revi'it. Like this.
The soldier too?
You understand? Soldier too. He drinks this much. He waits 9 minutes. It shouldn't be together as the biggest inya is the Khatam Sofer. Khatam Sofer is 9 minutes. That's the biggest one. Alright? There's 4, there's 7, there's 9. So you wait 9 minutes, then you can take another gulp of a revi'it. But not food. Why? Food you could go out with 7 days. 7 days. Water is more essential, but you don't need to drink water. You could drink something with calories, with power, with carbs, sustenance, not water. You drink something with grape juice is the number 1 thing, by the way. Also, before a fast, what gives you a lot of power is grapes. Okay? Grapes gives you a lot of power. Grapes and dates. If you want to have a good Yom Kippur, it's not Osh Palov. Osh Palov doesn't give you a lot of power. It has a lot of carbs, but also makes you very sleepy. What gives you a lot of powers is grapes and dates. A lot. You're going to feel good. The whole thing, especially if you're not chazan. If you're a chazan, you also need a little bit of plov. Other than that, you're going to be good.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.